Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So is that my mom behind me? Sorry y'all, I'm gonna be right back. This is fire. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. How are y'all? I hope y'all enjoyed last story time. Today I'm gonna be bringing y'all another story time. So where do I start? All right, so this one, before I start it, I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of a backstory so y'all can understand why what happened. So basically, I graduated my high school and I went to Seton Hall.
Wait, should I be saying that?
Well, you know what? Yes, I graduated and I went to Seton Hall. That's not where I graduated from. So like, all right. So I went to Seton Hall or whatever the case is. So sometimes when I would go to Seton Hall, like they would have different events and stuff like that. So I would go to these different events. So one night, this is actually around the night where I found out that I got cheated on. Was it around the night that I got cheated on? Okay. Anyways, that's a whole another story time. But I think it was around the night when I got cheated on, or maybe it was like a little bit after I got cheated on. So basically, I was in a vulnerable position when this situation happened. So on this night, I decided that I was gonna go. I can't remember if I went with friends, but I'm sure I didn't go by myself. If I went with friends to this event, I think it was my best friends. That's crazy. Like my memory, like
It's shot. Like,
I don't remember. I think it was two of my best friends I went to this event with. Anyways, so I think I went to this Greek event with two of my best friends or whatever. And basically at this Greek event, like they was stepping, like, should I be making fun of? All right, so
yeah.
you know what they be doing, like stepping on the stage or whatever. But for real, it was a nice little event or whatever the case is. So after the event, I think they had like, of course they had the cues up there. They had the what else they have? They had alphas. I think they had kappas. Like they had everybody. They had deltas. They had omega phi psi. No, that's the cues. What's the other one? The blue and white. Oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank? The zetas. Phi beta sigmas. Phi beta sigmas. They had the sigmas up there, and basically the sigmas was kind of like our, like for Seton Hall, kind of like our like fraternity, if that makes sense, or like sorority and fraternity. I feel like that was more of like our thing on our campus. Like they were the most, like, I don't want to say most successful, but like, yeah. So anyways, so this night, after the whole Greek celebration or whatever the case is, I decided that I wanted to go out with my best friends because I'm like, the night is still young. Like, I was being grown, of course, and I think I was like 18 at the time. So, you know, I'm happy as heck to be in college. A lot of people, y'all know how it is when y'all finally go to college. Y'all think y'all grown. Y'all can go out, talk to whoever, do whatever with whoever, or whatever the case is. So I'm like, I'm trying to be grown. I'm trying to go out. So I happened to hear about this after party or whatever the case is. So I asked my best friends if they want to go or whatever the case is, and we went or whatever the case is. And I think at that time, I don't think I was into nothing. So I wasn't
drinking, I wasn't smoking.
I wasn't doing anything, I don't think. So I know like I wasn't under the influence this night. So if anything, I was just high on life, to be honest with y'all. So basically we went to this party or whatever, and it was kind of cool. It was more of like a Greek after party. So like all the Greeks was there. So you know what happens when they play certain songs, like Meek Mill songs or like different songs where they start stepping. And so they stepping, they strolling in the middle of the freaking floors, back and forth. One go, then the other one go, then the other one go, then the other one go. And it's basically like that the whole night. So I can't remember what song came on, but I started dancing. I don't think I was doing anything inappropriate in terms of dancing, if y'all know what I mean. I don't think I was, but like I was still looking kind of cute. Like, let me set the scene for y'all. So like I had on my burgundy pants, and they was burgundy jeans. They was like tight fit burgundy jeans. They had like a little rip in it or whatever. I think I had on like a nice little black bodysuit shirt, and then I had on tall like knee-high black boots or whatever the case is. So, you know, I'm feeling myself. I'm thinking I'm cute or whatever. And I'm dancing with my friends. And out of nowhere, I cannot make this up, y'all. Out of nowhere, somebody comes and bites me on my neck. Bites me on my neck. Like, bites and like sucks on my neck. And it's like literally in the middle of me dancing at the party with my friends, and I'm just like,
Hey.
yo, I cannot make this up. I'm really just sitting there like, and I'm like, you know, one part of me is telling me like this feel good, but the other part of me is like, what the like, did you really just come out of nowhere and bite me on my freaking neck? I turn around, and what fraternity you think this man belonged to? It was a man, of course. What fraternity did you think this man belonged to? He was a Q dog. He was a Q, and I'm just like, what the heck? So, you know, at this point, like, you know how all of us is in college, especially females or whatever. Not all females, but a lot of females be like, yes, like Greek life. Like, I want to talk to a Greek. Like, I want to talk to a frat man or whatever the case is. So, you know, naturally when he comes, first off, I don't think that's how he should have greeted me and introduced himself to me. But when he did that, I'm just like, you know what? This is really a frat guy. Like, I really could talk to a frat guy right now. Like, a frat guy wants me right now. Just an idiot. Just being an idiot. Being young and dumb, and also being way too grown. So, after he does that or whatever, he starts spitting his game. Yeah, I'm trying to get to know you, shawty. Da, da, da. You know, again, guys always be spitting their game. So, I'm like, okay. So I think sometime during that night he asked for my number, because he kept going back and forth between me. Who knows? He's probably going to other girls during that time at the freaking party or whatever, because it was a lot of people. But also they were strolling and stuff like that. So he would go stroll, and then he would come back, talk to me for the rest of the night, whatever. So at the end of the night or whatever the case is, he asked me for my number. Also, I think I forgot to mention that I was dancing. He was trying to get me to dance on him or dance with him and something like that. And at that time, I didn't do stuff like that. So I was just like, no, like, I'm a little uncomfortable. Like, I don't know about that. So at that time, yeah. But anyways, so that happened or whatever the case is. And he wants to get my number or whatever.
Case, dang, I really be spilling the beans on everything.
Anyways, that was just a random thought. But back to the story. So he winds up getting my number or whatever the case is, and we started texting or whatever the case is. First off, I asked this young man, he wasn't even young, to be honest with y'all. I was 18. This man was like, I shouldn't even be admitting that. Let's just say this man was significantly older than me. Younger than 30, of course, but significantly older than me. And I was 18 at the time. So let's just keep that in the back of our mind. So I start texting this man, and of course, quite naturally, the first question I'm gonna ask you is like, what is your name? Like, what am I supposed to save your contact as? Da, da, da. So he had a really feminine name, but like I don't want to say his real name, so I'm gonna give him, I guess kind of his name was unisex, so I'm gonna just give him the name Jordan, because Jordan I feel like is a unisex name. So he told me his name was Jordan, or whatever the case is. And I'm like, all right, Jordan. Like, so tell me a little bit about you, so we get to know each other. And I'm over here geeked as heck. Like,
I'm talking to a frat boy. Period, period, period. I'm moving up the pedestal. No, girl. No, girl. If anything, you're moving down the pedestal.
anyway, so I'm talking to this man, or whatever the case is. And he wound up telling me his age. And at first, I was like, first off, once he told me his age, which I said was significantly older than me, I should have noticed that was a red flag. And I kind of did when he first told me that his age or whatever the case is. I'm like, I probably shouldn't be talking to him. But I don't know. So, all right. So I decided that I was going to talk to him, or whatever the case is. The whole age thing, I feel like literally this man probably said something along the lines of age ain't nothing but a number, or something. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to lie to y'all. This is like 3 years ago. So like, wait, no, this is like 5 years ago? Dang, time really flies. Like,
okay, y'all, minor interruption. So like, y'all gonna have to bear with me, because when I was telling this story, and even still to this day, I can barely remember all the details, because like this literally happened so long ago. Like, I think it was
please excuse
please excuse that. This is literally like back in like, I think 2018. So like, please bear with me, but back to the story, y'all.
Wait, yeah, okay, so this was almost like 5 years ago or something like that at this point. So I don't remember all the details or whatever, but I'm just telling y'all from what I can remember. So eventually, after probably a week or so of us talking, or whatever the case is, we did go out one time before I actually went over to his house. Like, I think, what did we do? We didn't even really do nothing for real. I think we chilled in a car, and then when it was time to go home, he asked me to take him to Wendy's. And I'm like, okay. So I think that's what happened. So anyway, so we did hang out publicly at first, because I'm like, at the end of the day, like, I don't care if you're a frat guy, I don't care if you're a regular guy, I don't care what kind of guy you are, whatever the case is. Like, house visits and stuff like that should be a rare commodity. Like, you should not be doing that ever, if at all, especially on the first time you link somebody, because you just never know. Like, people are crazy, so it's better to link in like a public place. So we did link in a public place at first, and then that's when he finally invited me over to his house. So I'm like,
Oh, yeah, baby.
yeah, I'm about to go to my frat man house, period. I got a frat man, period. I'm a part of the Greeks at this point. So I go over there. I should have known by the look of the outside of this house that I had no business being on the inside of that house. So first off, I pull up to this man's house or whatever. I'm not gonna say where he lived, but he lived in more like of a like suburban neighborhood. So basically, all the houses surrounding his, they're beautiful. They look fine. And then I look at his house. The panels is cracked and peeling. The property just doesn't look like it has been kept up with in years. I'm like, why? Like, why does your house look like the regurgitated version? Why does your house look like the regurgitated version of all of these houses surrounding you? Like, and why am I about to go in here with you? So at this point, I'm like, what? Like, this man's supposed to be a whole overgrown man, and you a frat guy, and you mean to tell me that this is what you have to present? And mind you, again, I'm not one to talk about nobody's house, but like, it just wasn't making sense to me how he was of his grown age, and he basically barely had anything going for himself. Anyways, so Sorry, y'all. I just got mad because I started thinking about this other situation that I gotta tell y'all about. It's crazy. Like, I have too many story times. I used to think my life was boring, but I have so many story times for y'all. Anyways, back to the story. So, I'm in my car looking at the outside of this house, like, okay. So, I told him I'm outside or whatever the case is. What did I say his name was? Jordan? Okay. So, I told Jordan, like, hey, Jordan, like, I'm outside or whatever the case is. So, he come outside and he come get me. So, first, I think we about to walk, like, through the front door or whatever the case is, because that's what people normally do when they go into somebody's house. They just walk through the front door. So he comes out of his driveway or whatever, and he has me walk around the side of the house. Mind you, these steps are broken, they're cracked, like, they look crazy. So I'm like, why are you taking me? Like, am I entering a dungeon? So, like, at this point, I'm like, all right. So, I'm trying to play it cool or whatever the case is. At this point, I'm, like, uncomfortable because I'm like, I'm not sure if this is really somewhere that I should be, but, okay. So I go in the house or whatever the case is, and I'm looking around the house. There's not really no furniture. Literally, all I see is like kids' toys on the floor and stuff like that, and I don't see nothing else. Like, it's no furniture, unless that's just the part of the house that I seen. Maybe he had other furniture in other parts of the house, but like that house looked like completely empty. So I'm like, does he really live here? So at this point, we go up the stairs to his room or whatever the case is. I think his room's on like the second floor or whatever. I don't know. So at this point, we go up the stairs or whatever, and I enter his room. And I enter his room at his big age. I'm looking around his room, and I see his bed is on the floor. It's not even really a bed. It's 2 twin mattresses put together and 2 box springs put together. So I'm really sitting up there, and I'm looking at his bed, and I'm like, I don't know if I should be here. Does he really live here? So, like, this is literally all that's going through my mind. Like, does he really live here? Or is this, like, a place where he brings his girls? Because that's literally what it was given. But then, when he started, like, going in his drawers and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I see, like, his shoes there, whatever case is. So, maybe this is really somewhere this man is laying his head. But it's like, okay. So I think he was like something about, oh, we could put on Netflix or whatever the case is. And I'm like, okay, Mr. Greek man, like, whatever you want to do, like, let's put on Netflix. So I think we tried to put on Netflix and it wasn't working or whatever the case is. Like, that should have been red flag. That was definitely like red flag number 10 at that point. So he said that we could listen to music or something like that. So I think he put on music in the background or whatever the case is, and we just chilling. I don't know how far I should take the details of the story. So I'm going to just say he started kissing me, and then...
Dang, I feel wrong just saying this out loud.
I feel so wrong saying this out loud, but we started smooching or whatever, and one thing led to the other, and let's just say everything that happened was so bad. It was so bad. Everything was protected, of course, but it was so bad. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, and it was painful. It was painfully bad. Like, I'm like, is this what you have to offer? Is this what you have to offer? And at that time, I didn't really know nothing about nothing, because I only been in one relationship. I only been with one guy in my life. So I never knew, like, and at this point, like I said, I was in a vulnerable position. So, like, I had just, like, went through what I was going through in that situation or whatever the case is. So I'm over here thinking, like, I'm about to move on with this frat guy or whatever the case is. And again, like, I never, like, experienced nothing else. So I'm like, is this, like, it can't be. So that happens, and at that point, I'm kind of, like, uncomfortable, because I'm like, and the reason why I kind of did it is because I need to stop doing this, but, like, this isn't just, like, with that kind of thing, but, like, with all kinds of things. Like, sometimes I be thinking, like, what if I say no to this? Like, how is this person going to react, or whatever the case is? So when I was there, I was kind of like, what if I say no, and then he reacts in a way that would make me have to like defend myself, and hopefully I can defend myself. And so that's kind of like what was going through my mind. But that's not a good excuse to be doing anything. I don't care if somebody's gonna do something, whether you say no or not, or whatever the case is. Like, especially if you say no, like, you have every right to defend yourself, every right to let them know, like, I said no, and no means no, and that's period, point blank. So that situation happened, and I was sitting there, and I'm like, I'm a little uncomfortable. So I asked to go to the bathroom, or whatever the case is, because I'm like, at this point, I need to go just use the bathroom, get myself together, clean up, whatever. So I go to the bathroom, or whatever the case is, and, you know, I'm using the bathroom, and then I try to flush the toilet, and the toilet wouldn't flush, and I'm like, what is wrong? Like, this house, yo. And then I think I went to go wash my hands at the sink, and the faucets was barely working, and I don't even know. He had to do something like special to even get the toilet to flush in the first place. And I'm just like, oh, like, where am I and why am I here? So at that point, when that happened, I decided that I was gonna like go get some food, because I was hungry or whatever the case is. And I asked him, did he want to come with me? And he talked about something.
Oh no, it's okay. You could go, da-da-da-da. You could come back if you want, or whatever the case is.
So I go to go get pizza or whatever. Why did I go back? Why did I go back, yo? I really went back again. The same day after I went to go get the pizza, I really went back. And I think, to be honest with you, I went to go get pizza for me and him, because I remember being in his room eating a pizza, and I'm sure I wasn't eating it just in front of his face, and he wasn't eating nothing too. So I feel like I went to go get me and him some pizza. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, this is cloudy. Like, this is literally 5 years ago. So I went to go get the pizza, whatever, came back, and I think he was eating in his room, or whatever the case is. Why did it happen again? Why did it happen again? As if I didn't already just experience everything the first time. And why was it bad again? It was bad again. Like, girl, like, of course it was bad again. It was bad the first time. Like, why would you even think it would be anything different the second time? Like, what are you, like, why are you making these decisions? Like, literally, when I think back to how I used to be back then, I'm just like, why? Like, why? Why was I making these kinds of decisions? Like, so anyways, so that happens, and I finally leave, and so I'm like thinking to myself, like, that was horrible, but like, hey, like, I'm about to move on with my frat man. Like, I really got me a frat man. Like, he liked me or whatever. He really liked me or whatever.
Another minor interruption. Please excuse the way I used to think back then. Like, I really thought I was about to move on with this man. Like, no, that's not what it is. Like, just please excuse my stupidity. But back to the story.
Just an idiot. So I want to say maybe a couple weeks later, I asked him, no, we was texting or whatever the case is. Maybe not even a couple weeks later, a couple days later. Maybe it was like a week after that situation happened or whatever. And he was talking about me coming over again or whatever cases. And I was like, okay, well, next time I come over, like, I want... Can I say that? Is that an appropriate word to say? And is that the right word to say? See, I gotta ask myself questions, but I'm gonna just say it anyway. So basically, I asked him, like, okay, well, next time I come over, like, I want some fellatio. So I'm like, yeah. So he was like, oh, I don't do that for anybody but my girlfriend. Girlfriend? Wait, what? So I said, wait, back up.
Back it up. Do you have a wristband? You can't get in. But back to the story.
And I could have sworn I asked this man if he was single or if he had anything going on. I could have sworn I asked him that, because I know that's something that I would ask. I definitely did ask him, and he told me no. So he said, yeah, he had a girlfriend. So I said, you have a girlfriend and you ain't tell me? He gonna say,
yeah, I have a girlfriend, but honestly, she's okay with this. Like, she doesn't care, or da da da.
but I'm thinking to myself, that don't even make sense. It's not that your girlfriend is okay with it and don't care. If you really have a girlfriend, she just don't know. It's no way. If you really have a girlfriend, it's no way that she's literally okay with you engaging in any kind of physical activities with any other females, unless she's doing it too, or she has some seriously low self-esteem. So I'm like, yeah. So at that point, this is when I finally cut off the situation, because I don't take it no further after that. Like, I said, since you have a girlfriend, like, I really find that messed up. Like, that's really messed up that you didn't tell me beforehand, or whatever the case is. Because if you would have told me, like, I would have never engaged in any of this with you, or whatever the case is, because I'm not that type of person. And even if your girlfriend is okay with it, I'm not going to sit up there and be a part of your cheating schemes and your cheating tactics and all that other stuff. If you and your girlfriend was okay with that, and y'all have a arrangement where y'all okay with that, then y'all do y'all, and y'all find people who are also okay with that. But I am not one of them. And I was like, I really honestly think he probably just wanted to, like, do stuff and then never see each other again, or whatever the case is. Because it's like, it doesn't make sense how you could really sit up there and tell me you didn't have a girlfriend. Then when I asked you, do you have a girlfriend? Now all of a sudden you have a girlfriend, and you talking about, oh, but my girlfriend's okay with it. Like, that don't even make sense. Like, that really does not make sense. So at that point, I cut the situation off. Like, that's one thing I do not play about. Like, and I know it really be females out here that really don't be caring that guys have girlfriends and will still pursue them. And it's like, okay, at the end of the day, as that girl, you don't owe the girlfriend any loyalty, but like, what is wrong with you? Like, would you want that to happen to you? Like, would you literally want that to happen to you if you really was into somebody and a girl was still pursuing your man after he told her he had a girlfriend? Mind you, he's at fault too if he's still pursuing her, whatever the case is. But like, being that female, like, I never understood females like that. Like, no shade to y'all, but shade to y'all, because like, that's a little weird. But anyways, I wasn't about to be that type of girl. So I said, you know what, since you have a girlfriend, you have a great life, and I'm going to exit now. So basically, I did see him one time. I seen him one time after that, maybe like, because this happened in my freshman year of
high school. Heck, I was not being fast to high school.
This happened in my freshman year of college. So I want to say I seen him again in my sophomore year of college, when I went with one of my, I thought was going to be one of my female friends, close female friends at Seton Hall, but we wound up falling off, or whatever the case is. And that's okay, because Seton Hall just wasn't it for me anyway. So basically, I went to an event with her, or did I go to the event with her, or did I meet her at the event? I can't remember, one of the two. So we was working out together. It was like a workout event, or whatever the case is. And basically, the Qs were throwing a workout event. So basically, you know, it was a bunch of different guys in there. I wound up seeing him. He wound up seeing me, and I knew he knew exactly who I was, and I know he know exactly who I am, because he still be liking all my posts on Instagram to this day, watching my stories and stuff like that. And no shade to Jordan, but it's just like, you ain't have to lie, sir, or you didn't have to do what you did, sir. Like, you could have just went about that situation much differently. And I don't know if that's like a common thing with like frat guys or whatever the case is, because I've been hearing like a lot of different stories about frat guys having girlfriends and still be messing with other girls. Like, even at my old school, like, something like that went down. So I'm just like, at this point, like, is this just what y'all do, or whatever the case is? So like I said, we seen each other at that event or whatever, but he didn't speak to me, I didn't speak to him. And you know, I knew he knew exactly who I was, because we kept making eye contact, but neither one of us said anything to each other. And I wasn't about to say anything to him, because it's like, you know what you did, weirdo. So at that point, that happened, or whatever the case is. Tell me why one of his frat brothers from that night tried to wound up talking to me. When I found out he was a Q, I said, goodbye, I gotta go. And I never entertained that man ever again, because I said, I will not go through that again. I will not even go through something remotely close to that again. And on top of that, y'all probably friends or whatever the case is, and this is what y'all do. I just don't want to be a part of this circle at all. So basically, that's my little story on, or story time, I should say, on the Q, like messing with a frat guy, whatever the case is. Like, at the end of the day, like, I'm not gonna say all frat guys are like this, because I don't know all frat guys. I haven't encountered all frat guys or whatever the case is, but a lot of frat guys just be wanting one thing, and that's it. And that's what they do. Like, that's literally what they do. They go from one person to the next, multiple people in one day, multiple people in 1 week. Like, they don't care. Like, that's what they do. And again, I'm not saying that's how they all are, so, you know, no shade to the frat guys that are good and do have a conscience and do have a heart and actually care about females and how they make females feel. But to the ones that don't, like, y'all really have problems for real. And to my future, like, college students or my college students now, like, be careful of these frat guys. Like, watch out for them. Like, don't just mess with all of them. Like, you don't know what these people have. They be sleeping with the next chick before you know it. They be sleeping with the next chick right up under your nose. And then on top of that, they be having girlfriends who don't care. So, like, more of the story is just be careful about these frat guys. And that's one thing that I should have done. Like, it was so many red flags, of course, as usual, ignoring the red flags. But yeah, that whole situation with Jordan was crazy. Like, and I never really thought I would make a story time about it, but I mean, why not? Because, like, everybody likes Greek, well, I should say everybody likes Greek life, but a lot of people like Greek life and are interested in Greek life and Greek men, and I just thought I'd bring y'all a little story time about that. So without further ado, I hope y'all enjoy my second story time, and until my next one, I will see you guys later.